終わるかな、わかんないけど。9時半ぐらいまではできるけど、終わるんかな。もうちょっと早めに終わらなきゃいけないかもしれない。風呂に入るという仕事があります。いや、前回は俺が助けたからだからあれどうしたっけ。で、あとあれか。ババアに聞かねばならんのか、あれを。何もない。ミスが4人前になってる。ロード中じゃん。Hi, Baba.
Oh, you're here. And I hope I'm not being... There's a light in your eyes.
大したもんじゃない。これ言ったらどうなんだっけ。何言ってもなんか、じゃあいいよみたいになるんだっけ。
What was that? Some kind of joke? If it was, I take back what I said.
この女マジで。カバッシュ、ほらね。何週間か見てないね。最後に見たとき、ジョルジュースとテーブルを囲んで何か仕事してた。ジョルジュース。ジョルジュースに聞くか。何？あのおばちゃんは口説けないということが分かった。いやでも興味ないねって言ったら、まあどこかのツンツン頭のファーストソルジャーみたいで素敵じゃないって言うかもしれない。言わねえか。ガレリウス働いてるな。ゴシゴシマンバジルなんか起きたけどちょっと待って。知っているか。バージルじゃない。ごめん、間違えた。バージルじゃんこいつ。ジョルジウスだ。
I'm Georgius. My friend, your words intrigue me more and more, but... I knew this day would come. I do not wish to lie to you, my friend, but even discuss, please. Let us leave the live coals safely beneath us.
いやいや、ダメでしょ。私を信じてほしい。異国人同士、共に手を取り合っていこう。違うか？
Very well, but the magistrate would not look kindly at this. So please.
いいんだあいつカスだからもう。
Several months now, I have been sneaking out at night to
デメテルの神殿に足を運んでいる。
in the temple of Demeter. Each day, I leave offerings of food in the hope that we may have a bountiful harvest. And yet the next day, when I return, the food is missing. The offering, it is symbolic, you see. It is never
誰かが食べてたってことね。
strange.
ちょっと今飛ばした気がする。
Once I sat in front of my shop,
役目のアルゴスのように
until
店の前に座って泥棒の侵入を
spot a thief going
発見しようとしたことがある。
Do you know what I saw?
動物？
Nothing. Nobody entered. And yet when I went to take a look, my offering was
ど
gone.
こに備えてんの？
It is
神
bizarre,
殿
is it not?
どこにあんの？で、
And
で、
I
なん
told
とかの
my
神
friend
殿。
Kabas of this at the tavern. He offered to help investigate. He went in, and to my dismay, he was never seen again.
デメテルの神殿どこ？
It is the only Greek temple in the city.
浴場に向かって進んで右側にある最後
It
の
is the
建物。
last building on your right.
あ、あそこか。
I do not think you should pursue this, my friend. It would break my heart
あ、
to
あ
be
そこね。
responsible for two,
入れたよね。
but you do not strike me as a kind of person to be deceived.
オッケー。他のことは全部奴がやってくれてるから。敵ウスワシカと、こっちだね。ゴーゴーゴーゴー。バーン。調べる。これじゃん、絶対。こんなん見つけらんないのか。ジョルジウスをバカにしてしまう。どうしても。これ見つけられないやつおる？カバディはどこにいるんだ？おお、あれカバディじゃない？老人にカバディシュを見かけたかし。名盤？うん、これじゃねえよ。何ここ？
Ah, a visitor.
カバシなんじゃないの？
Welcome, welcome.
違うか？そちらが先だ。まあいいだろ。
Sincere pleasure to tell me.
カバシを探している。
Kabash, I know
通
this.
っていっ
I
た。
will tell you everything I know. But first, a request. I have been living down here alone for many
まさ
years.
か神だったりすん
The
の？
one thing I long for above all else before I die is a good philosophical argument with someone. Let us find out with this simple question. Have Excellent. I see you are indeed.
そうそうそう。
Very
プル
few
ト。
come to that
そうなんだ。
realization before their time is son.
ちょっと覚えてなかった。
Now, will you join me in a friend? Good enough for me. Would you say you know the
善
difference?
悪の区別ができる。
You are an overthinker too.
考えすぎる人。
We're the same then. But if you struggle with right and wrong normally, then down. Well, that's reassuring. You see, out there in the world, being uncertain about right and wrong. So we would tell lies and bend rules and turn a blind eye and rationalize. But under the golden rule, morality matters. So to navigate this maze, we would have to be certain.
なるほどね。
So let me ask you this. Is there one system of morality which is always perfectly correct, which you could follow?
セーブしてから話せばよかった。まあいいか、大丈夫か。
Are you sure? Or is it possible? After hundreds of years and as many great thinkers dedicating their
Okay,
lives
nice.
to these, what hope do we have if our best and bright? Good.
答えを変える
Leviticus,
か。
would you say you know the
え
and to what extent?
あらゆる場面、ほとんどの場面。ほとんど。そう。
That is quite. I'm reminded.
何
Let
や
us
ねん。
know that you know.
そうだよ。当たり前だろうが。
It is because
ハゲ。
knowledgeable people have learned enough to
お
know
前がハゲということだけは俺は言えるぞ。
in the broader scheme
どうだ。
of things. You see out there in the world. So we would, but under the golden rule. So to navigate this maze, we would have to be. So let me ask you this. Is there one system of...
複数
How
存
can
在
that
する。
be? Since they all have differences, it follows that in some cases, if there is a correct moral code...
社会や慣習によって異なる。
You know, I think you'd find an ally in Herodotus, a scribe from among my people. He told the story of a man named Darius, whose curiosity was piqued. He asked some Greeks who burnt their dead, what would it take for you to eat your dead? Aghast, they replied, nothing. Then he asked the tribe who ate their dead, what would it take for you to burn your dead? Nothing, they replied. From this, Herodotus concluded that custom is king, that right and wrong are merely local ideas which do not survive the journey. I take it you're in... Then let me ask you this. If you visited a tribe where they ate each other, copulated with the dead and drank wine from cups made out of human skulls, would you still maintain that within such a tribe there is nothing wrong with such conduct? And that's a credit to you. It is the mark of a civilized person.
話の要
My
点
point is
は
this. I don't think anyone alive truly knows
そり
any
ゃそう
harm.
でしょうよ。
If there is one thing I have observed about rules, it is that virtuous people do not need them, and evil, and so we must accept our limitations. And the sad truth, in mathematics we would call it an asymptote, a line that can be approached but never reached. Because the only way to create a utopia is with the ever-present threat of force, such as the Golden Rule. This and no other is the root from which a tyrant springs when he first appears as a protector. And life under tyranny is no utopia at all. I admit, I am talking. In any case, thank you for... You mean how did I end up living alone in this cave with nothing but these relics of the past for company? I was a quarrelsome young man. At 19, I left college for Rome to study rhetoric at one of her finest academies. So I could argue. Back then, I used to enjoy verbally sparring with everyone I could, and I was good. One night, it became heated. He drew a gladius, and I won the argument, but lost my life. I settled in,
年取ったんですよ。
made friends, and
ああ、もうなんか言ってたカロンがどうたら
quickly
こうたらって。
realizing my community faced certain death under the Golden Rule. So I began looking for a place to hide underground. Fortunately, I found this place waiting for me. I returned to my friends above.
一応友達の元に戻り一緒に来るように説得し
12 of
た。
us descended for the last time to live out our days hidden from Hades. They are one and the same. The Romans call him Pluto. Long before my generation was wiped out, turned to gold many years ago. My friends and I were able to avoid the same fate by hiding down here. I think it's safest to assume that if I was to return, Hades would realize that his furies hadn't finished the job. I fear that if you were to utter my name in the city, I'm afraid I am the only one left. Some from malnutrition. It has been. Before my unexpected visit from Kalash some weeks ago, I'd not seen another person in many years.
カバちゃんはどうなったの？
Living in darkness is not without its challenges. The first challenge, and sometimes when there are Greek people living up above, I surface at night and salvage the offerings. The greater challenge is the isolation. So I like to imagine arguments, like so many things in life. As you will. Ha! If I did. Did we not discuss it at length already? Oh, I see. You seek the plaque bearing the Egyptian
これこれ。こんばんは。来ました、じいさんのとこに。
It is a cursed object, and I would be happy to give it to you.
トシは持ってったんか。
I will tell you, and you'll find him hostile. To prepare for your very
Nani?
few know this, but before the Romans came to this city, it was when the Romans came, in typical fashion, they claimed it as their own.
なんかジョルジウスに話して、なんかお供え物を盗んでるやつがいるって言われて、
Thus, the shrine of Persephone became the shrine of Proserpina.
ペセポナエがプロセルキナになっちゃったね。
Hades, they tore it off and replaced it with Pluto instead. And the city's dwindling Greek residents, witnessing, they gathered their art and valuables, secreted them away through the temple of Demeter. However, there was one thing that always seemed out of place to me, and it is an even older plaque bearing an Egyptian. We had no idea until years later. And the first of my friends. As a result of their deaths, we began to dig catacombs, branching off. We extended the tunnel so far that we accidentally discovered another,
地下道。
an even older tunnel. Suddenly it made sense why there was an out-of-place Egyptian plaque among our
なるほど
people's
ね。エジプト人もいたってこと？
You see, we proud Greeks thought the Romans beasts for stealing and corrupting our heritage. But it turns out this game has been going on much. I think it is best you head through the catacomb. There are certain things. Take this key.
なんでやねん。
You'll need it to open it.
地下墓地への
I enjoyed our chat, but please.
どうだろうか。続くんじゃ。もうちょっとだけ続くんじゃ。こっち側って何？戻る道かい。えい。回ってくるだろ。カバオくん。浴槽ベッドにしてんの。なんかないかな。おお。埋葬の仕方がすでに、いやエジプトの文化ではないのか。これマジもみじくんが好きそうだな。ギリシャの埋葬ってこういう文化なのか。どうなのかな。てかでも死んだ人間の肉食うとか絶対その習慣の部族って死ぬと思うけど、そのうちすぐに割と病気の肉とか食ったら終わりやん。てか食人って多分ろくなことないよね。いやエジプトですね。つまりこれもこれ来たか。つまりこれも奈良村匠ってやつの仕業なんだ。偶然にも同じ匠であった。ああやばい、なんかいる。ちょせえ、これただの弓じゃない。やめて。これただの弓？どうなの？こっち黄金の弓だわ。ごめんね。金書いとくわ。ほんと死んでるから別に黄金率には反しないらしい。なんか激しかった。年季が違うってことか。割とまだ続く感じなのかな。どこ痛いとこ。バンオープしました。お前らどうしたの？ 仲良く。もう全部同じこと書いてあるんだね。この人考古学者だからそんな全部読めるのか簡単に。うわー、いっぱいいる。美味しいよ。急展開だな。エジプト人のボードゲームセネト。
今の通れるんだ。
今なんか俺ダッシュしただけだったんだけど。燃えた？開ける。開けるは死者たちを悪霊から守り冥界に迎え入れる。冥界の門番ってこと？冥界の門を開けるってこと？なんかあいつ地味に寄ってこようとしてない？あじゃないって。はい。花火シーン。花火シーンを調べさせてくれ。花火スケツ。ワン・フォー・ウォール。オール・フォー・ワン。みんな逃げようとしてる。あれそうじゃない？ボス戦か？
Stop.
カバシュ
Do not come any closer. Who are you?
カバシュはエジプト人だったの？
I am Kabash.
風味、サバ主。
Trousers, boots. Curious here. No, I suppose.
割と冷静なやつだな。
Then, to what end? That is welcome news. You really are. I was planning to return it myself, but for now, I must remain here. Take it and restore the honor.
おう。
Now, as for
もう
the
一つに
other
ついて
flag,
は
花揚げ、あっさり。
知ってるのか？
indeed, I have it right. I
そうなの？
stumbled across a collection of dusty
アメミットのコラが
curiosities while searching
コラ
for
から
a place
身を
to
隠す場所を
hide
探
from
し
the
て
hungry children of Amit, and there it was.
それは
You may
渡してくんない
not.
の？
In fact, I am
壊そう
about
とするの？なんで？
because it speaks a
最終的に許しがたいそうかだっていう。
I will tell you, but first,
ドゥアト。
花揚げ、下の選択肢 W。
俺考古学者だし。
indeed, and I see
あ、そ
you
うか、これ
know
自分が
our
考古
history.
学者ってことにしたから知
This
ってんのか。
is the Duat. See what has become of it. I have been down here for weeks, piecing together its story. And here is what I have learned. As Egypt declined and the Greeks had their turn to flourish, their souls came here in great numbers. But instead of adopting our ways, they copied and
フレスコ
corrupted.
画を修復しちゃったん
When
だ
they
な。
found the obelisk bearing the name Osiris, the true god of the underworld, they desecrated it, removing his name and replacing it with Hades. Even the ferryman of the dead, known to my people long before as Kelti, they renamed to Keron. As if that desecration was not enough, they built over this place, using it as the foundation for their own underworld, so that ours was forgotten. My only solace is that the Greeks then suffered the same fate when the Romans rose to power, renaming Hades to Pluto, and the cycle began anew. It is inscribed with a script I do not recognize, but it is
どう
ancient.
してその名前が刻まれた名板より
Almost as if
古
it
い
is older than the plaque bearing Osiris's name. But if that is so,
そんな
it
古い
would
文明って何の
imply
文明
the gods of Egypt are mere imitations too, copied and corrupted from an ancient people who
なるほどね。
prospered, and that my people did to them what the Greeks and Romans did to us. But this, I cannot accept. I sense a deception. Perhaps it is the work of Set, the usurper, seeking to undermine
君黄
Osiris
金が
once
好き
more.
かい。なんて書い
You
てある
will
の？
never
質問を知る必
This
要がない。
work of sacrilege must be You are too late. It is done.
冥界の追いかけないといけない。
You would plunge into the depths of the... If it will help you to see reason, then ask. I am from
Itsumono.
Lakotis, which
Lakotis.
you may know as Alexandria, the name of
Alexandria.
the city the Greeks built over it. I was a fish since the Romans had taken over from the Greeks. I took the opportunity to learn Latin and eventually traveled to Rome. When the fires broke out last year, I tried to help.
その時まで
I
生きてたの
gathered
この人は。
terrified locals into my boat and led many of them to see my father along the Tiber. On my 7th trip, a passenger demanded I wait for his brother. But we were full to almost... I told him his brother would have to save himself. And he tried to bribe me by placing a coin into my hand. When I refused, he drew a dagger. I awoke on the banks of the river to a stranger wearing a... It did not dawn on me until much later that he was the guilty.
それは知らなかったのか、それとも気づかなかったのか、どっちなの？知ってたら普通さ、なんだコスプレかぐらいに思うでしょ。
This is where I belong, as caretaker of the memories of my people. I think if someone is to break the golden rule, it will not be me. For I try to live as I always have, do to the doer to make him do. As for the punishment that will come from it, I finally understand why it has long been said among my people that gold is the skin. I do not know what could possibly lie beneath the underworld. All I know is it would be unwise.
お前のせいで行かなきゃなんねんだよ。
Is everyone so contrary where you are from? Good. Wait. You... I urge you.
もうどうせこうなるんだろうな。行くしかねえな。さよなら。あ、同じところに来るのか。まあそうだよな。いや行くしかないでしょどうせ。で別にこれエジプト、あでもエジプト版なんだね今度は。同じ場所に出るのかな。あ全然違う場所だわ。ってことはあともう一枚。帰ろう帰ろう。何かな、藁につながる圧力糸。あれか。 配信にも悪い神がいるみたいだな。踏んでないよね俺も。踏んでませんよね。びっくりした。なんだあいつ。失礼なやつだな。シュー。奈良村さん。奈良を見ると奈良村さんと言ってしまう。
When I told you that you would not find a way back up, that was
お前
not
どこに
a
いんだよ。
prediction. That was a promise. You will die here. Do not be a fool. I disagree. I warned you against. You have undermined and dishonored the truth. Very well, I will listen. But if I sense deception, why should I let you live after you salvaged this instrument of blood?
すごいもっともらしいことを言ってみるか。
Then you admit it. You wish to destroy this
到底許されることではない。
Many of my ancestors endured great hardship to live good lives so that we may descend to the Duat in death and be judged accordingly. We prepare to have our hearts weighed on Anubis' scales and to swear ourselves innocent of sin before the 42 assessors of Ma. And yet, I arrive here to find the book of the dead contained only a seed of truth.
めちゃめちゃ早口やん。
Now, I ask myself, did our priests steal and embellish the stories of an older people and feed us lies?
唐揚げ、こんなに一気に喋ったら喉乾く。
喉ちょっと枯れてるもんこの人。非難すべきはあなたたちの制作者ですってあって私じゃない。どういうことか分かりやすく言え。ちょっとまとめてくるから1週間ぐらい待ってもらっていい？もう難しいな。何
Perhaps there is some truth in that. What is your point?
唐揚げ、興味を持たれた。
You are persuasive.
お前がそんなお前がそんなさ、冷静に話を聞く人間だったらさ、最初からこうはなってないんだよ。何なの？とりあえず一言謝ってもらっていいですか？とりあえず謝っていただいていいですかね？出るだけだよな、ここな。でもこれ最後の仕掛けあるでしょ。これ前からドドドドンってくんじゃないの？あ、避けられた。避けられ。おーい奈良村。ちょっと。どっから何が来るの？教えて。何が起きる？帰るよ、とにかく。あ、砂に埋もれるのかな。さよなら。いや、怖かったね。ただの地下じゃねえかよ。かわしのやつ。お前は冥界に下るのかとか言ってたけど、アホか。何が冥界じゃポケ。
You carried the
ただい
gift.
ま。
Good to see you again, friend. I enjoyed our chat, but please.
お前らのこと全員に言いふらしたくなってきたよ。こんなことあってさ、ジョルジュースちょっと聞いてよ。おう、大変だな。あいつ大変だなで済ましてくれそうだから。何言っても。見つけた。あれ？ちょっと待って。くれてやる言うて。持ってるよね、2つとも。エジプトシュメール。アルブルーオ、ネルガル。あともう1個なんだっけ？ギリシア。ギリシアね。ジョルジュース。ジョルジュースもさっきのやつじゃなかったっけ？ジョルジュースもっていうか、ジョルジュースってさっきのあいつだよな。もしかして気づかんやつおる？じゃあちょっとはめてくるか。ジョルジュースにもっと話聞くか。あと君誰に投票すんの？大事なんですけどそれ。うわ勝った。一発殴らせろ。じゃあな。じゃあジョルジュース。
Greetings and salutations.
お前何でも知ってんの？
Truly, my imagination runs wild.
My imagination.
If what you say is true, I will have to satisfy myself with being
不満があることに満足しなきゃな。続けた方がいい。
very well. I will now. Who's... And in a city full of Romans, you are asking me because I am Greek. Let me tell you, my name is Georgios, yes, but the Romans they do not care. They hear me say Georgios, and they think, ah, he must mean Georgios. Good Roman name.
いやでも
They do this all the
欧
time.
米人はそうなん
They
じゃ
see
ん。
us worshipping Zeus, they copy us, but call him Jupiter. They take. I am flattered that they copy our ideas.
これ聞いたな。なんだっ
I
け？
pull my hair out. But my point is this. If you want to know who stole
手癖の悪いローマ人。
the plague you seek was pilfered from a collector.
そうですそうですそうです。もういいや。
I hope
そうだった。ごめんごめん。そうでした。じゃあもうあとはもう解決じゃないこれ。板はめに行く必要、ちょっと待って。もう持ってるよね。全部持ってるよね。あともう一個手に入れれば。じゃあはまってんだっけ？もうなんかなぜかはまってんだよな、いつも。こっちじゃねえよ。いいや、めんどくさいから。じゃあもうでも俺が
Citizen.
こいつは俺が
Name's Hilarious.
ですよねですよね。
Fine.
みんなもガレリウスのおかげだと思い込んでるの。俺様のおかげだけど、俺様が全部やったことなんだけど。別に確認しなくてもいいかな。てかシスターンの鍵、シスターンってそっか、上に行く鍵を持ってんのがあいつなの。でも聖堂神殿に入ってなんだっけ、 まあいいや、ちょっとセーブして投票始めるか。多分もういけるよね。全てが繋がったぜ。ここでアニメだったらなぜかうまくいかないことが起きてる。
普通に、それじゃ選挙一丁買ってきますか。
一応買ってきますか。一応取ってきますか。世界を。どこにいんのあの子。ああ、下の自分家か。この世界で人間は結局どうなってるの？子供がいないからやっぱり子供とか生まれたりしないんだろうね。セーブ始めてくれ。
It'll be why as I
お前んとこのボスは、ああ、いいよ。
Citizens, it is time.
I hope you're
Let us
coping.
meet to elect
ガレリウスが、ガリレウスガレリウス。あいつが全部何とかしてくれたから。ちょっと決まって最初から来ちゃってんじゃん。いいのか。じゃあ俺は飲み物を飲む男と一緒にいるか。
普通に、張り切ってるね。
勝ち確だと思ってるからもう。ガラリウスは今もう白い歯を見せるのを必死にこらえてるからね。まだだ。まだ笑うなっつって。でもさ、マレオラスの件どうなの？あいつやらかしたよな、最後。でも今更センティウスに何か言っても意味ないもんね。
Citizens, we have a quorate body of voters gathered here to elect the city's magistrate. The candidates are Sextus Sentius Imperiosus and late nominee Gallus Galerius Helva. Marcus Malleolus Gurges withdrew his candidacy earlier today. As
あいつがいたりすんの？
agreed, we shall dispense with ballots and candidates will abstain from voting. Let's make this quick. As I say your name, call your vote. I'll start with you, Horatius.
いるね。
The man who put a stop to the threats I've been receiving. Galerius.
Ulpius,
Galerius, the man who saved my life.
Rufius,
普通に、
man
もし
who
やってき
treated
たら
my
持ち前のディ
rheumatism.
フェンスで
Galerius.
citizens, you have made your decision. Your new magistrate is Gallus Galerius Helva.
What?
Undecided.
来ないね。
Galerius, would you like to make a brief address?
I just want to say, this isn't something I ever wanted.
おいおい。
Now that you put your trust in me, I'm going to do everything I can not to let you down. I'll need some time to put together a list of the changes I want to make around here. But I promise you, there will be changes. My first order is that Dooley is to be freed. Horatius, release him from his cell immediately. Please. Wait, do I need to say please? I suppose not. That's it. You can all get on with your day. Nothing else to see here. Move along.
すごい速度で行ったからあいつなんか しでかすかと思っちゃった。オラティウス。よう、うまくいったな、オラティウス。お前割といいやつだったみたいじゃない。でもお前娘さらってなんかしただろ。よくないぞ。
Fortune smiles on you today, Julius. Magistrate Galerius here has ordered your release.
You're going to let me out?
I'm sorry it took so long, my friend. And it wouldn't have happened at all if it wasn't for a newcomer. So be sure to offer your thanks when you
今ふんぞ
can.
り返ってます。
I will. I will.
まあでもドリは出さん方がええと思うぜ。
So happy.
I'd love to stay and chat,
てかこ
but
れ
I've got a lot of
出られ
work
そうにも
ahead of me.
思えるけど。
Why don't you go to the baths? Then tell Georgius I said you could have some new clothes. Then I want you to go home and rest. I'll speak with you soon, Dooley.
リベレート。うわ。ドリ君。
Hello?
そうだ、俺だ。
Oh. Thank you. You can have my shiny plaque if you want. And my friend Hannibal used to look after me. And he said he always
ハン
would.
ニバルの死体とかあったっ
But
け？
then he died. But before that, he told me if anything ever happened to him,
おうおう
I had to find.
それは何だった？シスターンの鍵をくれて大事にしまっとくように。
He told me to keep it safe.
あ
Please
あ
help me find it.
ハンニバルは誰だ？
Please. Oh, thank.
あ、そう、上層。でも上層までも行けたよね、自分で。
Sisters.
でもそこの奥、
Over there. Something shiny.
大
Is
丈夫
it
かこいつ。
treasure? Maybe it is treasure. I can see it for myself.
Salve again, friend. I went and did as you asked, and how is it possible that you've just arrived here and you already know every... Oh,
ちょっとデュリー危なくない？
Take it. Don't you dare.
おーい。
shall suffer for the sins of the one.
俺はもう一周した方がいいんか？
son of this!
俺だからさ、早めにちょっと申し訳ないけどもう一回閉じ込めといた方がって言おうとしたんだよな。え、名盤？名盤？名盤中にあったんだっけ？こいつはいただいていくぜ。もう一周するか。鍵もあるし。なんなら今死んだらやばいな。この世界に用がないということはガルリウスにも何も言わずにガルリウスにも別に何もしなくていいっつってそういうわけにはいかんか。全部やっといてもらおうか。また一応俺がいなくても全部いいように転ぶよ。
Salve, friend.
あ、じゃあごめん間違えた。じゃあやってほしいことがあるんじゃい。
Ah, it's you now.
あれ
All right.
一応頼んどこう。
Salve, friend. I'll go.
すっごい速度で。めちゃめちゃにまくし立てたけど全部聞いてくれた。ガレリウスは最高だな。 よくデリいてこの町無事だったね。とっくにダメでしょ最初から。どうしてたんだよ。ハンニバルが全部抑えてた。いや無理でしょそんな。でさ、ここにも入れるはずなんだよな。だからまず一回ここ入ってみて。よし、ごめん。てん。てん。よし。おお。
からやげ、それはそうかも、向いてた。
まあね。ちょっとドゥリオ話しがいは厳しかったね。でもなんか人のものを盗んだぐらいでダメって結構その名を言う。えどれなんでもいいんじゃないの？人からしたら誰でも一緒でしょ。一応ハデスにしよう。あ？
家の人、今晩。
家の人さんってもしかしてあの人？怒られたの今2回。2回怒られたの。ちょっと気になるわ。ドンゴーンで何が起きたのか分かんないし。
家の人、アカウント名の方だけど、もしかする人。
もしかする人。いらっしゃい。プルートじゃなきゃダメなの？確かにプルートって言ってた気もするけど。あ、これがあれか。そうか。ギリシャだからか。ギリシャだったっけ？ローマなんだっけ？覚えてないのよ、そんなこと。いちいち。どっちでもええやろ。とても近いわ。あ、そういうことか。今、なんだった？どれだった？オシリスではないと思う。ハデスだと思う。よし。で、これオシリス。これはわかりやすい。ローマとギリシャの文化なんてさ、見てわかんない。これ最初はあれかと思う。ラムラーナで。どうかな。で、最後これが、あれプルート。あ、おお。何？すごいデジタル感出てきたんですけど。何？どういうことだ？どういうオチだこれ。シスターには行かなくていいのか？宇宙やんけ。お前ヘラクレスなんか。
As you have already gathered, I've been known by many names. Nergal to the Sumerians, Osiris to the Egyptians.
宇宙人だった説か。もしかして。
But the one constant through it all has been my title, God of the Underworld. And I've been watching you with curiosity, mortal, ever since your arrival. You're unlike the others, aren't you?
なんかリュウマチのおじさんに似てないけど。あいつなんじゃない？
And you do it so gracefully that there will be time for your reckoning later. First, as a reward for undoing the desecration of my bodies, I will allow you to satisfy your curiosity. Ask what you will.
あなたのことを聞いてる。 ああ、いや、大丈夫じゃない。平井さんよかったらフォローとかしといてください。
My story is many thousands of years long. You will need to be more specific.
めっちゃ英語で喋るやん。あなたは神か。
It is a matter of
味方の問題である。
God is a label I was given by you mortals, not one your ancestors revered me because to them, my knowledge and technology made me incomprehensibly powerful, just as you might seem so to an insect. But despite all that, there are rules even I. My kin and I all adopted this form long ago, so that we might better understand and communicate with your kind. In time, we grew fond of the sensory delights of foods, desire, joy, ecstasy, even sorrow.
これが心ってやつ。結局神なのか宇宙人なのかどっちなの？
No. Long ago, I swore to Persephone that I would remain in this form for as long as we remained among your kind. I must.
左にいる女性。
This is my beloved. Like me, she has been known by many names. Ereshkigal to the Sumerians, Isis to the Egyptians, Persephone to the Greeks, and Proserpine to the Romans. Or perhaps you might know her as the goddess of springtime, the cycle of life.
いやなんか彼に言わないで。はい。
Your gaze lingers too long.
なぜだ。神を見たところで何か問題でもあるのか。ジロジロ。いい女ではないか。ジロジロ。
That is my servant. You would have met by the
これカロン。
though she wears many faces and goes by many names. Kumutubal to the Sumerians,
こんなしみったれた感じじゃなかったけど。
to the Greeks, and
カロンとカロン。
Her role is to ferry souls
メロンでも何でもいいけど。
this one, and to make their transition as seamless as
この
possible.
世界の間で魂を橋渡し。
She earned herself the infamous, if erroneous, moniker, the ferry. You will talk more later. For now, ask your questions. As you will. It has come to be known simply as the underworld. And it
賭けの
exists
結果。
because of a way. That is a long story. One that began over
昔話。
3,000 years ago. You see, long ago, my kin
星々の中で他の生命の種を探し求める
to search for other forms
た
of
め
life.
エルシオンの地にある我が故
We
郷を
discovered
通し
your planet and witnessed your kind evolving from primates into something lawless and barbarous. You all but destroyed yourselves. Your too short lives being extinguished by violence and ignorance. Yet Proserpine saw raw potential in you and persuaded the rest of us it would be squandered without our intent. So we revealed ourselves to your people in a place called Sumer. We offered guidance in agriculture, toolcraft, and law. For a time you flourished, but soon you were too many for us to oversee. And as you spread from that cradle of civilization, we saw something disturbing. We had sown the seeds of dependency and confusion.
依存と混乱の
Soon
種。
you returned to your old ways of violence and ignorance. This time, my kin had seen enough and gave up on your kind, condemning you as barbaric and chaotic, scarcely more than animals. We began preparations to return to Elysium, our home world.
小説を絶する美を誇る世界へ戻る準備。じゃあ最初から来んなよ。勝手にやってきて勝手に期待してさ。なんやねんお前。
Knowing it would force the rest of us to leave her behind, she made an extraordinary sacrifice. She gave up her, and so she began her inescapable trajectory toward death. Horrified, I acted swiftly. I placed her in suspended animation, in a deep frozen sleep, to prevent age and sickness from claiming her. And then I pleaded with Proserpine's father, who the Romans called Jupiter, to bring her with us to Elysium. It was and is my hope that once there, we might one day learn to undo what she has done to herself. But humans are unworthy of ascension to Elysium, and no exceptions would be made. But seeing that I was agreed, he proposed a wager, the terms of which were as follows. If even one human city could prove itself capable of living without sin for a single year, then Proserpina and all of humanity would be permitted to join us in Elysium. My part would be to remain behind, the last of my kind, to watch over you without interfering, and to sit in silent judgment. And so my reward has been to languish here, enduring a 3,000 year winter, waiting for the day your kind is itself worthy of her faith in me, so that I might take her with me to Elysium and unthaw my goddess of springtime. And here I am.
これがだから正面から挑むっていうのこのパターンってことか。
There were also gods who, like me, have been known by many. Our leader Jupiter, as well as Neptune, Saturn, and of course, my beloved Proserpina. As the first wave of your kind arrived from Sumer, I had them build a city in their own fashion, so that they might be comfortable. I had them build the entrance as a vertical shaft leading to baths, to cleanse them of the sins of their former lives, and to prevent escape. I watched wave after wave of Sumerians arrive, and as their civilization declined over the centuries, they were replaced by Egyptians.
どこからこの世界に入ったんだ。まあでもゲート、あれでもさ、あ、でもそっか。壊れた浴場の中から入ったんだよ。あ、ごめん、話聞いてなかったわ。
To ensure the wager was fair, it was important that my subjects would. To this end, I had my servant distribute 1,000 tokens.
銀を用いてコインを1000枚作らせる。
Rare element. Whoever died while in possession of one of them would be located by my servant and ferried to this place, with no memory of how they arrived. As the tokens were discovered, they were traded, smelted, and fashioned into trinkets, and eventually coins, spreading to Egypt like seeds on the wind. Some placed coins in
今ちょっと飛ばさなかった？
hoping they would awaken here, though they had no way of knowing
勝手に次に行かないでほしいんだよな。
In fact, almost all of the tokens are accounted for. Only 2 remain. And so after this wave destroys itself, as it is destined to do, your kind will have squandered the last of its potential to ascend beyond this rock. And Proserpina's along with it.
どういうこと？
To ensure the wager was to this end, as the tokens were discovered, some placed coins in the mouths.
なんで2回のクリックでさ、1回のクリックであんなに飛んじゃうわけ？
They had no way of knowing. In fact, almost all of the token, your kind. Whoever died while in, as the tokens were discovered, later when they spread to Greece.
そういうことね。
It is a regrettable story. One of the first men who came to this place was a king of... To be rid of him, I returned him to his people, on the condition that my servant erased his memories of this place. But the erasure did not take completely, and he told stories of this place as if describing them. His tales were committed to writing, which came to be known. Later, the Egyptians would adapt Sumer's stories of the underworld, making them their Book of the Dead and Book of Gates bore less and less resemblance to this place in their priests' pursuit of
いやもうこの話考えてる時めちゃめちゃ脳汁出てたと思うんだよ。作者が。
In a series of incidents that will not be, a warrior named Heracles, 2 kings named Sisyphus and Theseus, a poet named Orpheus, and a Trojan, they each told embellished tales of this place, how to get here. And so from Sumer to Egypt, Greece to Rome, your kind has always told each other's story. Of course. That is merely the name your people have given to it, but yes, it is my doing.
しかし冥界の神は青ひげは剃れないのか。
That is a story dating back to the very first wave. After the Sumerians finished building their city, now this man was unmarried, and many women were vying to become his wife. Prestigious position of power and influence in a new world. All the women, too, were particularly ambitious, their hair woven in elaborate fashion. The first woman, recognizing that she would require an advantage, draped herself in jewelry, ornate necklaces, bracelets, and rings fashioned. Seeing this ostentatious display, the second woman grew envious, for she had no such jewelry at her disposal. She prayed aloud to any gods that would listen to cover her in gold. And when her prayer went unanswered, she took matters into her. While the others indulged at the banquet, the second woman, she checked that nobody was watching, pushed her rival from the top of the ziggurat where she broke her neck on the rocks. But I was watching, and I took the golden bow left behind by Diana, and I shot that woman in the heart, covering her from head to toe in a layer of molten, and I left her to stand there, that she might serve as a grim reminder of what befalls the. But that was not enough, for the entire city was tainted by her sins. The wager could no longer be won. So I had no choice but to wipe the slate clean. I gilded them all, and to this day, each of them, and all who came after, line the halls of this, suspended in time with only their sight and hearing preserved, so they may. That is the story. Now this man, while the others, she checked, but I took the golden, and I left her to stand there. But that was not enough. The entire city was tainted by her sin. The wager could no longer be won. So I had no choice but to wipe the slate clean. I gilded them all to make way for a new wave, and began the wager again. Suspect.
一人ミスったからもうダメですよって話か。この人たちの生活を壊したのはね。GM が怒ってる。
And you always disobey. You force my hand, bringing terrible suffering upon. And so you ask, if I am the one destroying your life, you destroy yourself. When my kin departed, they left behind many relics which I inherited. The golden bow originally belonged to one of my kin, who the Romans called Diana. As my collection of golden statues grew, I chose the most ferocious among them. Equipped them each with a duplicate and tasked them with hunting down the Forsaken at my behest. They became known simply as Furies.
弓持ってる固まってるやつがそうってことか。てか出てきてるのかダメになった時は出てきてるんだっけ。何を罪だとみなしているのか。
Is the ability to determine right from wrong. No attempt to lay out rules like your Code of Hammurabi or your 12 tables of the Roman. This should come as no surprise to you, since the core principle has been expressed in many forms by many of your civilizations.
いや、こんな宗教的に問題になるようなゲーム出せたよな。それがすごいな。
The Greeks refined it with avoid doing what you would blame others for doing. The Roman Stoics
人の嫌がることをしてはいけません。人の嫌がることを進んでしましょう。
Even the so-called cultists hiding among you often say, it is the simplest of concepts, and each one of you is born with the faculties required to apply it to any situation. Yet none of the peoples who express them.
あなただって言い続けることできなかっただろう。
Enough. You clearly know enough.
すぐ切れるよな。所詮は神か。
I'm able to commune with all of the statues in the city. Their ears. If she was still conscious, I suppose she could, but she's
なん
not.
でそんなことを聞くの？いや別に理由はないで
Then
す。
what an odd.
気にしないで。
対話するゲームっぽくなってる。
対話するゲーム。おじさん口説きゲームになってる。あなたはここで非道な行為が行われてもそれを罪とみなさなければ見なさないこともあるようだし、なぜそれらを許すの
Do
か。
you plan to speak in sweeping generalization?
自殺。
I've seen no such thing.
そんなものは見てないがともかく。
Taking one's own life is a
自律
self-directed.
的なもの。
It is not one that. Therefore, it cannot be said that one who commits suicide. Applying this rule always requires us to interpret the meaning of the words. The literal interpretation helps to minimize the ambiguities of your primitive
だって私たちの使う言葉が曖昧に満ちているのなら、規則は本質的に主観的で信頼性のないものなのではないでしょうか。規則は本質的に主観的で信頼性のないものなんじゃないですかね。違います？
Supposing you're right, then my law has been broken, and I should turn you all to gold immediately. Is that what you want?
それって脅しですよね。私が正しいことはあなたにも分かっています。言いてー。言いてー。
Then your desire to be right outweighs your desire to survive. You will make a fine statue.
うわーこいつよ。話だ終わりだけりをつけよう。いや木星の弓なんかで勝てなくないこいつ。黄金の弓は持ってるけど、なんかどっちでもダメな気がするな。じゃあ黄金の弓にしよう。
Do you really think you can wound me, a god, with
私の冠を取って。
How dare you threaten her? This end. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
棺ってどこよ。お前は手を下さんのかい。あっち。わかりました。あ、ごめんね。じゃあこれセンティウスじゃん。センティウスじゃないんだ。お前。バラバラになったよ。冠。ちょっと。どういうこと？棺っていうから。棺だけ打たなきゃいけないの。もう長いじゃん。あ、間違えた。まあいいよね、別に1回ぐらい間違えても。こんにちは。
And here, allow. That is.
説得
I've
し
always
て。
the Rome, even the so-called cultists hiding among it is. For you. Do you plan to?
選択肢にもう聞いたが必要。
もう聞いた。人の命を救う薬にとんでもない値段をつける。
The merchant. How is that I disagree. Having watched this merchant, that is precisely what he would expect from others, and he would be quite capable of paying. Applying this rule always requires speculation to some degree. It requires us to ask what another person would want if they found themselves in another situation. Not if we're wise enough to know the mind of man.
人の考えを知るほどに賢明であるならばそれが当てはまる。わかるんですか？
Supposing you're right and my law has been broken.
こいつよ。
Then your
その
desire
パ
to
タ
be
ーンでいいんじゃない？
right outweigh. You will. Pathetic. The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
あ、いいのか。あ、時をかけろ。時かけていいの？かけていいの？かけますよ。痛い痛い痛い。いけるよいけるよいける。下手くそだ。帰ろう。感無量プルートに。ちょっと。ヘリクツ。ヘリクツじゃねえ。あいつがヘリクツを言ってるんだ。それ。何度目だよ。速攻でもう撃っちゃってよくない？できなかっただろう？どれ？いやもうなんかもうどうせ奴隷のような形で借金による拘束を行うことは道義に反するものだ。私の時代では国際法的に違反とされている。異端児の道徳的優越感は苛立たせる。教育法の際、ローンを組むのが強いな。それとこれとはもう違うんだよ。やばい、ちょっとローンが奴隷と変わらないっていう話はかなりね、俺もちょっとプルート側に行っちゃうわ。
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
拾った拾ったよ。やめろって。やっぱ指なんだよな。ちょっとね。いやー危ねえって。拾ったよな。アイテム。ある？なくない？やり直すか。もうThis way。ここで打ちたいんですけど、ここで打っちゃっていい
？The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
拾えた。もういいよな、別にあいつと議論しなくて。しょうもないし。ダメかな、このパターン。いや、大丈夫だよな。初手だよ、もう。何ダメだと思ってんの。センティウス、力を貸せ。仕方ないの。ここで共闘。一度互いに。ああ。ちょっともと分かったが。ちょっと。あいつ変射射撃してくんのか。あ、これは。ああ、まだいける。 けるまだいけるまだいける。センディス遅いぞ。早くしろ。本当に小声でなんか言ってる。そういえばフォトモードなんてあったの？体力ちょっと減ってない？セブショットも1個。ガレリウス。一応全部やっといて。ちょっと時間微妙なんだよな。ちょっとやれるまでやってみるか。エンディングが2種類あんのかな。シスターンの上流に向かうパターンがありそう。一旦ちょっとブルーと対決するか。こっちがなんかメインのクリアな気がしないでも。でもどっちにしろ全部やること同じ状況になるもんね。じゃあす。ギリシャ。ギリシャがハルス。エジプトがオシリス。ネルガルってどこだったっけ？シュメールか。そうですね。これがわかるか。
I would recognize that anywhere, and yet my beloved still wears hers.
これどういうことなの？
What is this? How did
時
you
間
combine
戻
it?
れるのはプロペルセルプロペルなんたらのそれなのか。卑劣にして卑劣なるもの。
Why would you do such a thing?
あなたが黄金律を終わらせないであればまた殺すことになる。すごいことすんな。驚愕で見ている。
You have put me in an impossible position. If I refuse, you will murder her. And yet, if I agree, I will lose my wager and return to Elysium, humiliated and alone.
それで
I do not
俺が勝ったわけだが。
choice in this. Your treachery and savagery have opened my eyes like nothing I have
すごい終わり方するな。
witnessed in 3,000 years.
ファッキンガードってこと？
Show me your species' true colors. See that Persephone
悲しんで。俺もちょっと悲しいもん今。
This has gone too long. It's time for me to let go of this form of her, of all of you. But know this: if I abandon the wager and leave for Elysium, neither she nor your kind may ever ascend.
ゆすり上げようか。元の世界に戻りたいだけだ。
Very well. I will have Carol make arrangements to
なんじゃ他のものとは別だ。なんでよ。
as for you.
なんで？
Once this exodus begins, the events that
Ah,
brought you
so
to this moment will never. What will become of you is difficult to predict, but that is the risk you have taken by interfering in that. Now, are you ready?
いいよ。終わりにしよう。何？同じじゃねえかよ。
You had best pray our paths never cross again, mortal. 帰ってきた。ブルックリンに帰ってきた。アルバース復活した。アルバースは何者だったんだ。意外と若かった。てかあいつに似てるな。
Gave me a bit of a fright. thought I was in here alone. I'm Al. Well, here I am. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
あいつに似てるよね。
Know who you are? I barely remember how I got here myself. I'm fairly certain
Ah,
you and I
Mamo.
are the first people to set foot in this city for about, fortunately for us, the last person in here was a Roman man
ローマ人のガレリウスという人物だということ。
inscribed an account into a tablet. Apparently there was a
あ、なるほ
community
どね。
of 20-something
あ、
people
年取ったって言ってたもんね。
and living in fear of a curse they called the Golden Rule. They believed that if even one person sinned, an unknown god would cast them all into gold, like the 1,000 people who'd lived here before them. Then an oracle appeared
ね
and told him how to solve the ills of the city, like
この
saving the
飛ば
life
す
of the
機
dying,
能が本当にこ
foiling
の
an
ゲーム
assassination
の良くない
attempt,
とこ。
and so on. Meanwhile, the oracle walked up to the temple of the
ガレ
mysterious
リウスがなん
god,
とか
this
でき
one
たの？
right here, and demanded an
デュリ
audience.
デュリのせいで
The doors
台無し
just
なんじゃないんですか？
opened up to
も
him.
う一回聞かせてもらっていい？
Who knows what went on in there, but Galerius wrote the oracle must have been more persuasive than Odysseus, because the next thing he knew, the ground shook, and the voice of that god rang out over the city. The many have suffered long enough. Unfortunately, Galerius' account just sort of stops after that, leaving a lot of questions unanswered. What became of him, and the other people who lived here? What happened to all the gold? And did this mysterious oracle single-handedly undo the curse that had terrorized people for hundreds of years?
非現実的な話だな。
I don't know, it reads like an earnest account to me. Anyway, I think I found a way out through the aqueduct that brought water.
あ、なるほどね。ここに来てるんだな、一応な。でもさ、じゃあここに来た経緯も若干脚色されたってこと？ちょっとこのタイミングで俺やめないといけない気がすんだよな。もう自力でもここまで来れるんだろうね。ここに出るんだ。もう一回入ろうか。
I'm gonna pause here for a moment and make sure nobody else has ever looked. You go on ahead. No.
何すぐに追いつくさ。カロンはいるの？カレンちゃんの。
このタイミングで WWW
このタイミングでそうなんですよ。ちょっと気づいたらこんなに経ってしまった。あ、いるわ。
You're back. But what a relief. Thank you so much.
探してくれって言ってたよ
I
な。
was beginning to think you'd both become trapped in there.
原点。
Why don't you tell me what you discovered?
I
see.
I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions.
生き返れないんですか？
You
本
can
当は
just
何
call
者
me
か。
Carol if you like. I'm sorry I was not completely honest with you when we first met. I do not enjoy
そうなん？
deceiving people.
セーブできる。
Believe me, I do not. But that most people find comfort in familiarity, in gradual change, and that you died, of course. You were dead. My role, as the servant of the god. Usually, when most souls would rather not remember. Ask yourself
なるほど。
honestly, do you really want? As you wish. You were exploring an
古い
old
墓を調べていて忘れられていた遺物の宝庫を見
cache
つ
of
けた。
forgotten relics.
古代の銀貨
including
不
two
明。
silver
あ
coins of ancient. Unfortunately, as you emerged into daylight, a nearby hiker saw the scuffle break out and leapt to your aid. You both fought bravely, but there was nothing you or your
あ。
ally
それがあるだっ
could
た
have
の
done.
か。
He died instantly at the scene. That man's name.
なるほ
You
ど
were
ね。
each in possession of a sacred coin, called Charon's opal by some. Perhaps you have heard the tales of the Greeks and Romans burying their dead with a coin in their mouths. To pay well, those stories contain a long time ago. My orders were simple. That is a question you would have to ask him. I am just his serf only now. I
これ
find
は記憶を失ってるからってことなんですかね。
Nobody to keep you company. After 5,000 years.
現世に戻してくれるのか。本当何者だって聞いたよ
You
ね。
can just call me Caroline if I...
あ、いいんだよ。
That I see no point in keeping you here. But I have to ask one thing.
なんだよ、目赤くなってなんかすごい怖い感じになったけど、助けてくれるんじゃん。
Here comes Al now. Al, it's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe what
すごい芸を見てしま
the
う。
ruins of a long forgotten city. And there was a tablet describing an oracle who
役者だった
confronted
ね。
a god and undid an ancient curse.
Sounds like quite a story. And I look forward to hearing all about it. You two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat and rest while I...
Sounds good to me.
And you? Are you ready to go home?
確かに。もうちょっとカロン可愛かったらな。長くない？マジで長くない？これセーブできる？あ、セーブできる。ここでやめちゃっても許されますか？